everyone, welcome to the Ardent Podcast. And as you
Are we
all
really a
know,
podcast though?
I mean, we're trying to be a podcast. Anyways, before we get into the discussion we're gonna have, my name is Saul or Ace. I am joined by Leo
What's up? That's me.
and Sarah.
Hey, how you doing?
And as you all know, I think we've said it a couple times here on this podcast. We're all big fans of Avatar: Last Airbender. And with the Netflix show coming up, we decided to talk about some scenes that we would like to see in the live action adaptation. Now we know that there's a lot of scenes out there and a lot of awesome moments, like in 3 seasons. So of
We
course,
just couldn't list them all.
we really couldn't. So
No.
we just narrowed it down to three. But before we get started, we would just like to say, make sure you like and subscribe to the video and the channel, but also give
I
us
forgot to cut you off.
but also give us your like what your scenes and what your favorite scenes are in Avatar: The Last Airbender, because I know there's a lot of them 3 seasons.
Yep.
So start us out, Leo, with
Me?
your first one. Yeah,
The
'cause
first one. Oh man,
I
I didn't even
have
know what
you-
order to go as.
whatever, in no particular order, I guess.
I think okay. So for me, it's definitely. I'm gonna start off with like the big one that everyone kind of wants to see. I feel
Yeah.
because it would be awesome. Is the Aang Ozai fight. I think when I when I sent you that, I texted you that my my phone auto corrected to Ozarka. So so when I looked at that, I'm over here thinking like, why doesn't that say Ozarka? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's
Aang
Egg versus
Aang-
Ozarka.
Aang against corporate America.
Aang versus Ozai for like one reason and one reason only. Just want to see how well they can make the effects around, because that was the whole reason we decided let's talk about what we want to see in live action, is because how good can these effects look? I mean, how good these effects can be on these series. Hopefully, they put in they pour in some money to make. That's the whole point of making a series like this, because the showrunners even said so herself. Like, we can do so much, we can show off so well, like their fighting style so well. So I want to see Aang go full blown like Super Saiyan 3 in here, and just have like his like big old like Avatar state like spear or whatever, because that, oh man, that just looks badass. Like I want to get that pop. I want to get the full figure too of Aang in that Avatar state fighting Ozai. But that would just be amazing to see in live action, not just just the first like just the pose alone, but him flying around like fighting Ozai would just be just so beautiful to see.
That entire scene is amazing. That last battle is amazing. I mean, not just like from like the fighting aspect, but also like when the comet's coming through and like it's all like that sundown orange hue. It just looks so beautiful. Like the entire thing looks so beautiful. I think even what was it? I think Suki was like, how can something so destructive look so beautiful, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the most like basic things that everyone want to see. Just wanted to get that one out of the way, but we already know why people want to see that, because it's so badass. Like there's a reason why that figure sold so well. But yeah, let's that's just number one for me. I guess we'll kind of move on to your your first one, Sarah. So what do you think? What's the first thing you want to see?
Well, okay, well, off the top of my head, the first thing I would want to see would be the bloodbender scene.
Don't hurt your friends, Katara, and don't let them hurt each other.
I think because although dark, but that's some very character growth in like Katara, because she has an insane amount of power. like, because it's just crazy and like scary to think that, yeah, it's true, because the human blood, it consists of a lot of water, like our whole body, And so the fact that just you have this old lady, you think she's like the sweetest thing, and she hasn't seen a waterbender forever, because she was the only one that she knew in her own village.
Southern.
Yeah,
water,
the southern. Yeah, exactly. The
water
southern.
tribe.
In her own village. And so it's kind of like crazy how she put so much trust into this person, and then she just showed her like a very dark side of, bending. And it's crazy because, yeah, like they're powerful. There's always two sides to just how much power you can have. And I think it has a lot of character growth because she used it other than to save her friends. And that was the first time she uses it where she actually stops the old lady, like, from like Saka and Aang killing each other. And like, but it's crazy because it was forced. And I think that just showed a lot, because even whenever she stopped, she cried because she didn't want to learn that. And then the old lady was like, I did my job. And I was like, damn. Like, it's so crazy because it's just the amount of, because just the way that Katara just handles the whole situation. And then we get to see that blood bending again, especially whenever she starts trying to find like the killer, like her mom's killer. Like, again, full circle, like whole thing, dude. Full circle.
My mother's dead.
It's like, what was it? Like the memes like, this is so funny. It's like my mom once thought that things were funny, but now she's dead.
Bro, I'm sorry. Real quick, that was like the one TikTok that you sent me, Ace, that I thought was the greatest thing ever. Where the guy is like is playing Saka, and he's like, she's my mom too. Damn it! Like, my mom died too, Katara. You don't see me bitching about it. Like,
but no, definitely, man. That's like the one scene that I want to see, because I just feel like it's super powerful, and you get to see like a different side of bending. So yeah,
I really want to see, like, especially for like the the visuals in that too is just so good. I want to see how like kind of leads up to that, because they do kind of start with kind of her being able to control like the water inside of the plants and stuff, and that kind of becomes blood, and it's just it's so
she's crazy.
Dude, crazy.
Because that whole episode was like it could probably be like a Halloween episode, I guess. It was just so freaky and
dark.
Like even the lady, what was her name? Hama.
I don't know. Old lady.
She
creeped me out.
She's just
alone,
crazy.
So
and then them nails, bro.
Dude, for
them
real.
Nails, she like. Nah, fam. Nah.
But I mean, but that episode does show you how powerful Katara is, because she's like, I rise with the moon, and Katara's like, I rise with the moon too, like, and I'm more powerful.
So do I. Facts.
Yeah. But for me, for me, my first one that I chose was the first time that Aang goes into the Avatar state. I think that was so cool, because that's the first time that Sokka and Aang find out like he's actually the Avatar. I think that was the first time they found out. But like it was, I think that was just so cool, like that whole scene. And you see like baby Zuko, we saw, I must find the Avatar to regain my honor. And it was just so cool. And then and Uncle Iroh was just like, yeah, sure, I'm just here eating my soup.
Sure.
Well, I have some like, this kind of looks like his scar, right? Like,
kind of.
I don't know why I have packing tape right here. That's actually one of the scenes that I kind of thought of too, but I saw that you wrote it and I was like, oh, okay, that one's actually really cool. But
all right, Leo, what's your second one?
Back to me. I think seeing them do the like that dragon dance, or what's it called? The ritual with the dragons would be really cool.
The dragon dance.
Him and Aang and Zuko. Just that whole thing, and then I just think it would look really cool. I want to see how they kind of create what kind of design they use for the dragons, how they create the temple up there in the how I'm just really excited to see all the bending techniques, but especially I want to see how good the fire looks, because that's something that's kind of you can make like rocks and stuff and like water, but like when it comes to fire just looks fake so much. I just want to see how good they make this, and then how they make fire just look like an extension of them, because that's how they use all their fighting forms to
especially that scene, man, like when the at the end when both dragons like shoot their fire and you see like blues and greens and oranges and yellows.
That's definitely something that just it's going to be so visually pleasing. Again, like even if this adaptation doesn't stand up to the animated series, which I don't think it really will be that much better.
It's hard.
I don't think it'll be even to it, but I think it could do it some justice and at least be visually pleasing. But yeah, I think that's number 2 for me. It's something that going to be visually stunning if they do it right, and it's just a good episode in general.
And no, I mean, not to get into the weeds, but that's also one of those character building moments for Zuko as well, because he doesn't want to use his emotion to generate his fire, his anger. He wants to do it the right way, and the whole temple thing happens, and so it's gonna be great. Be great. What about you, Sarah? Second one.
Well, my number 2 would be Saka, especially whenever he has that whole fight with like the master, whenever he starts becoming like a master swordsman. I think, again, character development. Saka, we know he's like the only one in the gang that does not have any bending abilities, other than whenever his girlfriend comes in, Suki. But besides that, the original gang, he's the only one that doesn't have a bending power. But I mean, he is definitely, other than the goofball, he really does want to protect his people. He does want to protect like his tribe, his sister, Aang, and like the whole gang. He is the glue that holds them all together. Let's be real. He really is, And so I really love that whole episode because it just shows like a dedicated episode to him, of like what's something that he wants to do, and he wants to become like a master swordsman. And I think that's like a beautiful thing. But mostly I wanted to see like the end fight, other than for the fighting scene in general, and you get to see like all the skills that Sokka builds. And it's beautiful because when the master shows him different skills, Sokka always comes up with the most like elaborate or funny or like a beautiful painting with the rainbow and the sun on the side, and it was supposed to be something else, like he sees the world so uniquely, and I think that's a beautiful thing. But I love that although we see that, it's kind of like goofy and it is, Sokka the way that he is, but I love when it gets all built together for that last fighting scene, all the skills that he's learned and all that. And I love that whenever Master, was it Lee or
no? It was
what was it?
Pian Dao.
And the fact that like he basically attacks Sokka, at the end, and obviously instinctively the benders are all there ready to defend. He was like, "No, this is mine. Like I got this," and I'm like, beautiful. It was like a great moment for just Sokka as a warrior, and also as just like a character growth of himself, and how he becomes like starts to become a swords master. He does really good too. So I really, really enjoyed that episode in general. I felt like the dedication for Sokka was very much needed. Very much needed.
So you remember what Master Pian Dao, I think I hope I'm saying his name right. Pian Dao gives Sokka at the end.
The white,
the white lotus.
The lotus, yeah.
Which goes into my second one. Which for me, my second that I want to see is when the White Lotus liberates Ba Sing Se.
Sing Say, the Order of the White Lotus is here.
Here to set you.
No, you have all of the old masters. You have you have the Northern Water Tribe master who teaches Saka. I mean not Saka. Katara and Aang how to waterbend, and then you have Uncle Iroh, and then you have Aang's best friend King Boomy, and then you have Piandao who's there, the swordsman, and you have then the Aang's first firebender teacher, General, I forget his name, but the general who teaches him the very first one. So it's such a great episode. And it's kind of the culmination of, I think it's like episode 1 of the last 4 episodes, I think, or episode 2, something like that. But it's for me, that's just a great episode because it's kind of a culmination of all their story arcs, like Iroh's and all the old masters. And before I was talking to my sister before this podcast, and I was like, I was watching a TikTok and they were like, they were like, yeah, it's cool to see like teens going up against governments or whatever, talking about Team Avatar, but they're like, don't forget the old timers who refuse to be a product of their time. And I'm like, facts. They supported the youngsters. Still doing their own thing, and that was a full circle for Iroh, because the scene of his greatest defeat was the walls of Ba Sing Se, and he comes back to as a liberator instead of a conqueror.
No, but the first time he came back as a tourist.
True, he did.
Yep. Facts. Hold up.
Oh man,
there he is, the Jasmine Dragon.
Dude, that's probably like one of my favorite moments from him. It's like the location of my greatest defeat. I never thought that I'd come back as a tourist. Like, I'm just like, I forgot exactly what he said. Yeah, something like that. He was just, oh man. Who are they gonna cast as Uncle Iroh? They got to get that right.
I don't know. Yeah, they gotta get that right.
They really do.
I know.
It's a sensitive topic there.
I know we talked about this before, Leo, but I'm like, what I want to see is like a chunky Uncle Iroh, and then like episode like 4 or 3. I mean, the last season 3, the last few episodes, I want him just to get like super
when he gets
shredded
jacked
and cut,
up,
like doing that one-handed push-ups and like the sit-ups, like hanging his feet hanging. Doing all those sit-ups.
Jail cell, dude.
Hell yeah! Like I just want to get
that's like an intense workout.
Going from like chunky to like being like super cut and super fit.
Being the dragon of the
West.
West. There we go. Dragon of the West.
I know I've talked about this a lot, and I saw like a lot of fan casting too about this surprising amount of fan casting for Paul Sun-Hyung Lee to play Uncle Iroh. I'm sure I've talked to you guys about like the Kim's Convenience show, and it's the lead for that show. Oh, yeah. And he would just be so good. If y'all watch that show, that guy is just so wholesome and just great. And then he follows me on Twitter, so suck it. But anyways, yeah, he would be amazing as Uncle Iroh, I think. But I mean, if they get someone similar to him as far as like his charisma, he just straight up wholesomeness, because that is Uncle Iroh. They'll nail it. But yeah, I think they definitely have to get that right for sure. I mean, of course, yeah, we saw like our main cast, the 4, but they got to get Toph right, and they got to get Iroh right. Like they kind of know.
Well,
man.
I mean, in a tweet from January 2020, one guy, he was like, "Can we put he added his Twitter handle is bitter Asian dude."
Yeah.
He's like, at bitter Asian dude, can we petition you to play Iroh on the Netflix? He's like, I think it'd be great. And he responded saying, I wouldn't say no.
Yeah. Oh, of course not. He would. He seems like the kind of guy, like he's a huge freaking nerd. Like he's a huge Star Wars nerd, especially. But yeah, he would definitely be awesome. to be
Iroh.
to be Uncle Iroh.
So what's your third one, Leo?
All right, the best fight scene. I mean, aside from the Aang ones, but the final Agni Kai between Azula and Zuko. Because for similar reasons, I picked the dragon scene, the dragon dance, just because holy crap, those blues, the blues and the red just against each other fighting, like
it's electricity.
Seeing Azula in like her full blown crazy mode, I think she's off. Like
cracked, bro. She cracked.
Seeing that would be one of the that would just be like one of the coolest things to see. I don't know what else I could say. Like, you guys have seen that fight obviously multiple times. I've gone back and replayed just that episode.
It's a beautiful episode. I think what I like about that scene like the most is when like they do like a bird's eye view of the city, and you just because the city is like a black and white tint, and all you see is like a blues and like reds just like shooting up, and I'm like, that is so
crazy,
beautiful and creative, and just looks so awesome.
And that's just probably one of the coolest scenes to me. And that's one of those scenes that if it translates well to live action, it could just be one of the most beautiful things to kind of see. It's one of, I definitely wish this was. That's why it pisses me off that movie was so bad. Because imagine seeing this kind of stuff on the big screen.
Yeah.
Like, I have a decent TV, but it doesn't compare to watching it on the big screen. Could you imagine seeing that just in like IMAX or Dolby or something? Just
would have been amazing.
But you know what?
Yep,
we're gonna get something like that. I definitely am looking forward to that a lot.
You, Sarah?
Well, third one, definitely the library of knowledge scene. And especially when they go into the sand and they find the temple, basically the library of knowledge. Such a nerd though, because it's crazy the amount of knowledge in that library, and I just like anything of that nature, like any scene. Honestly, that whole episode was beautifully and well done, because like it just shows again the double sides of so many things. Like knowledge is key, but also knowledge can be a double-edged sword, and like how the owl was just like another man came before you, seeking the same thing, and they completely betrayed it. And that's how the whole fire thing, like Fire Nation taking over, started because of the comet. And it's just wow, again, double-edged sword. Like, so like the first person comes in for the comet, and now the second person, they're just trying to like come for the comet again, but just trying to stop it. And it's like crazy, just the full circle moment. And also how the guy just legit stays in the temple. He's like, you go. There's so much in here that I can't. I said, no freaking way. Like, he really stayed.
He was a professor of anthropology at the University of Boston. I remember that for some reason.
Exactly. I was like, dude, not even me. Like, I wouldn't, like, I get it, the vast knowledge, that's a beautiful thing. But like, if like we definitely betrayed the trust of this owl and he was gonna bring down the house,
pretty much,
I'm not gonna stay. Like, what? No. But no, I mean, and let's not forget, it was also a tear-jerker episode. Like, because towards the end, when Toph is legit, like, holding on to the freaking, and then they take Appa.
Yeah,
bro,
that was crazy.
That was a tear jerker right there. That's why I said.
And lost his cool, man.
Yeah,
he really did. Oh my gosh! And then Saka with this cactus juice, but like,
it'll quench you.
It'll quench you. It's the quenchiest. Love Saka, man. It's my favorite character.
The Sandbenders would be really cool to see though too.
Live action, for sure. Like, that's why I said, like, anything with the Library of Knowledge like episode, I think it was great. Like, whatever they pick from there is going to be awesome to do, like really showcase that for sure.
Yeah, my third one that I chose a little bit different. I mean, it has some pretty cool, like I guess special effects and dragon and stuff. But for me, it's the Avatar and the Avatar and the Fire Lord episode, where there's the scene where Zuko finds out that Avatar Roku is his great grandfather.
Sozin was your father's grandfather. Your mother's grandfather was Avatar Roku.
Like that right there, like what, even like Paul, even like watching it for the first time, you'd be like, wait, what? Because like it's because Iroh explains it. It's like to understand you have to understand the turmoil inside of you, the good and bad. But that entire episode is really cool because it shows just how similar the roles that Aang and Zuko play. Like they're opposites, but only both of them can bring balance to Aang bring balance to the world, but Zuko bring balance to the Fire Nation and to his family. Because Uncle Iroh was like, only you can right the wrongs of our family that we've done in the past. And I'm like, wow. So like it was so cool how like related both of their story arcs were, even though it was like Zuko's story arc is completely crazy, and then Aang's is a little bit more streamlined, but they both end up at the same place, and it's just really cool. It's one of those episodes that really, I think that episode is where Zuko starts turning. Like you can see his character development and start going more to like a good guy, or instead of being like the bad guy Zuko,
Yeah,
it was great.
Turned before that though, hadn't he? Like he was already kind of like in the right.
He was second guessing himself.
Yeah, he turned. He went when Katara was gonna like use the water fountain thing on Aang on Zuko's scar, and she actually didn't because she used it to revive Aang.
I know. Oh my god.
So that was one of his turnaround moments. But I mean, it was really cool. I mean, that episode for me was significant. It's just it was really cool to see because it's so emotional.
I like how we all kind of took different approaches to this because my thought was I think this would look cool. Like that's literally what I thought. But like, it's cool to see that we all kind of chose something kind of like very, very different. Because I think things that are going to be visually pleasing, things that they could definitely take advantage of the with the technology that we have now, make those visual effects really
stand out.
They really show off like the visual effects that they can use now. And then you guys chose very emotional scenes and big character moments and stuff like that, because that's going to be really cool to see in live action, because you can really see like the emotion in like the live action the actors' faces stuff, of course,
portraying.
But
so real quick, just any honorable mentions, just like one that you might have just thought of.
I kind of think just seeing the Kyoshi Warriors, honestly, like watching the Kyoshi Warriors like fight and stuff. I think that would be really cool. Just seeing Suki, seeing the
Zuko
monster
gets his ass handed to him.
Yeah.
What
was it? Also the what's it called when they're in the? Is it the Southern Water Tribe? No. Yeah, right. When they're in the Water Tribe and with the moon.
That's the Northern Water Tribe.
Northern Water Tribe. Yeah.
Northern Water Tribe with Saka's first girlfriend.
Yeah. With,
who turns into the moon?
Yeah. Or like big old like when Aang turns into that big old like water thing.
That was like my first girlfriend turned to the moon. That's rough, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
What about you, Sarah? Any honorable mentions?
Whenever Aang has Katara and Sokka suck on frozen frogs.
Oh yeah, that was great.
And then with the whole Momo scene, no water.
He was trying so hard.
He brought like a crown and like a golden cup and everything.
Just everything, and all he hears is it's like And of course, that whole like Appa and Momo showdown. Facts.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
I don't know why I didn't even think about that.
That'd be great.
Right, they better. With that being said, they better have some cute ass animals. Appa and Momo better look adorable. And in the follow-up series of Korra, they Pablo better be looking cute.
The snowbird, the snow bear.
I don't care about that one. I care about Pablo.
For me, I have two. One of them is like dumb, but like the Ember Island players, like remember that?
Yeah. That is not dumb. That is peak.
That was so
you know what they should do? They should get the characters from the live action Avatar movie to play them.
That'd be great. That'd be great. Actually, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Dude, I really hope they actually get like The Rock to play the boulder. Like,
the boulder.
Gosh, lit, dude.
Yeah. So that was one of my honorable mentions that just popped up right now. I'm like, how that'd be so funny to see like them like a play with a play. And then my second one is
Kevin Hart the boulder.
Yeah, that'd be funny, dude. That'd be funny. My second honorable mention is the Tales of Ba Sing Se, like all of them.
I didn't want to cry.
From Sokka's slam poetry to Uncle Iroh's Trees from the Vine song that makes a whole generation of millennials cry when they hear that song.
Oh god.
Go away. I don't want you to
go away.
But I think that wraps it up for us here for the Ardent Podcast. Again, I know there's a lot of scenes, and 3 seasons is a whole bunch. So any scenes that you want to see in the Netflix adaptation, leave a comment down below. And I think we all have high hopes for this adaptation. I think it's gonna be cool. I think it's gonna be pretty fun. Anyways, but on that note, my name
I'm
is
ready
Ace.
to get disappointed.
Right?
I'm Leo.
And I'm Sarah.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.